buy real citrine beads and avoid heat-treated and fake citrine. In this video, I'm going to teach you how. This is actually a longer form update of one of my most popular shorts where I did a deep dive into citrine beads and how that I buy authentic citrine beads. I decided to create this content after trying to buy citrine beads to make jewelry out of, but also for wholesale. I am a crystal business owner and I just could not find any online. The only way I could really find them was in person. So I'm going to teach you how to find them, whether you are a hobbyist or you're a crystal seller. This video is for you. So let's talk about citrine beads and how to actually tell if they are real, because the truth is the market is full of non-authentic citrine. So if you're making bracelets, jewelry, you're a collector, or even if you're a crystal seller, this is something you absolutely need to understand before you buy. Now, I have a special interest in citrine. I didn't start out as an expert in this. I just became one through all of the research that I have done, being a crystal seller for over 10 years. Citrine is just one of those minerals that is my specialty. Now, primarily, I'm talking Brazilian citrine. That is my specialty. There's also African citrine, which I know a lot about, but I feel like most confident in my Brazilian citrine, which is what you're going to find the bulk of citrine beads, if not all, are going to be from Brazilian specimens. As someone who works in crystal education and sourcing, I see this mistake all the time. And I don't think a lot of people do this in like a nefarious way. I don't think they're out there like, oh, this is heat-treated amethyst and I'm selling it as citrine and I'm ripping people off. I don't think that's the intention, because most of the time, if not all the time, when I see people selling heat-treated amethyst as natural citrine beads, they're selling them at the price they should be for heat-treated amethyst beads. Like, they're not selling them at citrine, natural citrine prices. So I don't think it's so much of a, like, they're trying to rip people off, as that they just don't know. The other common fake I see is dyed quartz. So we'll be talking about those today. I'll be showing you some images so that you can see what to look for and how to make sure that you are paying a fair price for natural citrine beads and that you're not getting ripped off with heat-treated amethyst if you think it's citrine. There was nothing wrong with heat-treated amethyst, and I will say that again, next people come out of everywhere. They're like, well, heat-treated amethyst is citrine, and I don't agree. I think that it's heat-treated amethyst. It would be like saying that, gosh, what's a good analogy? Like a Honda is a Toyota because you put a Toyota sticker on it. You know, it's still a Honda, right? It's still amethyst. We've just heated it up to look a different way. I don't think that changes it into citrine. That is my opinion, but this is a heavily debated topic. If you are new here, I'm Bella from Bella Luna Crystals, and this is That Crystal Show. I like talking about rocks. I've owned my own crystal business for over 12 years, and I've been working with crystals for over 20 years. By popular request from my community, I'm sharing all my knowledge here for free on YouTube. So if you like learning about the woo-woo, a little science, or even how to spot fake crystals, be sure to hit that like button and give me a follow. First important thing to know. Citrine, natural, good, high-grade citrine is rare. It is expensive. When you see beads sold as citrine, especially if they're this deep orange or like a burnt amber, those are heat-treated amethyst. It's not necessarily fake in the geological sense. Like, they are a crystal, they are a quartz specimen that has been heated to change their color, but it's not natural citrine. And that's the distinction I want to make here. It's not that it's fake, it's just not natural citrine. It is another specimen. So from a geological perspective, natural citrine is a variety of quartz that is a yellow color. It can be an amber color, and it's naturally occurring in that color without any heat alterations. Now, also, before we go forward, we're talking about crystal and mineral world. This is different from gemstone world. Okay, gemstone world, we can still heat it, and that is still considered a natural specimen. And yes, you can heat natural citrine and it will get a little bit of a darker yellow color. On the other hand, heat-treated amethyst is amethyst that has been artificially heated with the intention to change the color to an orange color. I'm going to grab mine. I have one here. Nothing against this type of specimen, but it's not citrine. Both are quartz, but commercially, they should really be labeled differently, and they're not. Commercially, that product, this one, I'll put another image on the screen here for you. This is heat treated amethyst, and it is always labeled as natural citrine. It drives me bonkers. The third most common fake we see is just dyed quartz. Quartz can easily be dyed, all right? And a lot of times when we see the dyed quartz, it can be more neon color. There's also lab created, and that typically I just haven't seen a good lab created citrine. I know the technology exists. I know it's possible. I have just not seen a good color match on a lab grown citrine. So the key here, if it looks really dark orange, reddish orange, or is very uniform in color, it's very likely that that is a heat treated specimen. I know someone's going to come on here and say it, so I'm going to say it. You can find very high grade citrine that is more of a darkish orange color. Those specimens are usually only seen in gemstones, not on the crystal market where we'd see it polished and cut into towers. So just put that aside. Usually those ones in the crystal world, they are heat treated amethyst. Real citrine beads, what do you want to look for? And I've got some of mine up here that I bought at a gem show. You want a soft yellow color. They can be a pale goldish color, champagne tones, and you want color variation. They should not be 100% uniform in color. There's usually a dead giveaway. They should have some soft inclusions in them, so they shouldn't be perfect clarity. They should not be neon. They should not be deep burnt orange and then completely the same solid color all around. That's usually a dead giveaway that that's non-authentic or has been altered in some way. Remember, natural citrine, it could have some slight cloudiness to it, and each bead should look slightly different. So this is a really good a tactic to use, is looking at the beads and seeing, are these all looking 100% uniform, or am I seeing some variations within the beads? That's a good sign. We want to see some variations. If everything looks perfect, that could be glass, it could be lab created, a synthetic, but that's usually a red flag if everything is perfect color and clarity, unless those are very, very expensive beads. I'm talking a strand close to $100. If they was natural citrine, that was perfect color, perfect clarity. I've never seen it, to be honest with you, and I'm a citrine collector. Your best bet when you're doing this is you can look at the strands. You want to look for the color, the clarity, a lack of uniformity. You don't want everything looking the same. You can always ask the seller. I find most sellers don't know. You'll go to a gem fair, there'll be tables and tables of beads. And if you are a beader, honestly, that's a great place to go. Even if you're a hobbyist, you get the best prices. But you'll see these tables and these sellers will have thousands of beads. They travel to gem fairs all over the country. Most of them really don't know their product. You got to find the one that does. And it's a lot of work. It's walking around, talking to them, asking them questions. When you find a good one, they usually have heat treated amethyst and they usually have natural citrine, and they have them both labeled. That is usually what I am looking for. But at a gem show, like we have our local gem show that comes twice a year. It is the Gem Fair brand. And there is one seller, and there's probably 25 to maybe more bead sellers. There's one seller that I work with there that I've gone to. I lost his card. Oh, I got to find it. If I find it, I'll share his name with you. He's actually local in the area that I live in. And I have bought natural real citrine from him. But a reputable seller should know, is this heat treated amethyst? Is this natural citrine? What's the origin? Has it been treated in any way? Most of the bead sellers are not going to be able to answer these questions for you. So that will really filter people out really quickly. But really, that's why you have to do your due diligence when you're shopping for beads. I can tell you citrine beads from Michael's, non-authentic, I guarantee you. They're not. The citrine beads like rose quartz and amethyst at Michael's probably are. Actually, they most likely 99.9% are real, but they've probably been heat altered or color altered to enhance their color, but those are real, in fact, of those minerals. The really big check you can after your visual checks is the price. Natural citrine beads are more expensive because the mineral is rare. If you see a full strand of citrine beads for a low price, especially in a deep orange color, it's almost always heat treated. I won't say 100% because with crystals and minerals, You just never know. I mean, some random person could have a really high grade strand of citrine from who knows where, and it could just pop up at a gem fair. Like, is that possible? Sure. Is it likely? No. So, from a geological standpoint, understand what you're buying means you're respecting the mineral's formation. And from a metaphysical perspective, citrine's one of the most desirable minerals, and many collectors really like natural citrine because it's connected with those things we like as humans, like abundance, clarity, sun energy, positivity, good vibes. So really, this is not a thing to say heat treated amethyst is bad because I know a lot of people love it. It's just about saying we need to label things appropriately. And because we don't in the mineral industry, you have to do your own due diligence. It's just what it is. It's what it is. I don't agree with it. I think we should label things appropriately. But the fact is that the majority of the market does not. Some other things to watch out for. Some people calling citrine golden citrine, burnt citrine, dark citrine. That's usually another red flag. And lastly, and I hate to say this because I love a small business. I'm a small business owner. I own a crystal shop, but most, if not all, of the citrine beads on Etsy are not authentic. I'm going to just say it. They are. They're not authentic. I have dug deep into Etsy trying to find natural citrine beads, and I have not. And I've actually purchased a couple where like the image looked really good. It looked like it was going to be natural citrine, and what arrived was either lemon quartz or heat treated amethyst. Like it was not citrine. I was really bummed. Like it did not look like the photo at all. So I will only buy citrine beads in person at gem shows. That's it. I need to look at them. I need to see them. I need to touch them. I need to taste them. Not taste them, touch them, and make sure everything looks legit. So, your final checklist here. You want to look for soft, natural color tones. You want some slight variations within the beads. You want to make sure that you've talked to the seller, at least done your due diligence, like, hey, are these heat treated? Do you know where they came from? And comparing the pricing too. So remember another good little hack. A lot of times a good seller, bead seller, will have heat treated amethyst and citrine sold separately. And they will have different pricing. Like a lot of bead sellers at these gem fairs will be like, 3 strands of this table for like $25. And then this will be usually the natural citrine will be on the higher end. It won't be part of like the cheapy mix and match packs. Those are usually going to be heat treated amethyst. And lastly, buy from a reputable mineral or gemstone seller. So all the folks that go to these events technically are, but you still got to do your due diligence. And I know a lot of you left comments on my short saying, well, can we just buy citrine beads from you? And honestly, I would sell them to you if I could find them wholesale. But that's the thing. I cannot even find them wholesale. Natural, good quality citrine is so rare. And when I can find it, it's so expensive that I just don't think people understand how expensive it is. I will give you a little example. So this is a free form here, and this has got really high clarity, high color grade citrine. This is Brazilian specimen, and I would have retailed this in 2022 for about $90. Okay. And even then, I never sold it. It's now in my personal collection. No one wanted to pay $90 for this. Now, fast forward to today in 2026, I would probably have to retail this at market rates for this grade of citrine closer to 150. Citrine costs have exponentially increased because what we have on the market is not as great of quality as we used to have. Even for pendants, that's one of my number one requested pendants by my customers is citrine pendants. And I just haven't been able to find good ones. What I find is such a pale yellow. I just feel like you're going to be disappointed when you see it because it's going to look mostly clear. And that's why I haven't sourced them. I don't want my customers to feel disappointed. I have one Brazilian wholesaler who on their website, it says they have citrine pendants. I'm just waiting for them to get back to me. I want to make sure if they're heat treated or not. But what I see happening with even the natural pendants is that they are being heated because the colors that are coming out of the earth are just not as desirable. So they're heating them to make them more the desirable color. And again, this is not gemstone land. This is crystal mineral land. Gemstones heat treatment, you would still call it natural. Like if you go to your jeweler and you buy a citrine ring, you just should assume it's heat treated and they will still call it natural. Different industry standards. So it's important to remember natural citrine is beautiful. It is one of my favorites, but it is rare. And the majority of mass market citrine beads and citrine specimens are indeed heat treated amethyst, which is it's so abundant. They can heat it and sell it as another mineral, and there's still like tons more. It's so cheap and affordable. So being an informed buyer doesn't mean you're a picky buyer. It means you're an educated one. So if you want, let me know in the comments if you want me to do more of a deep dive on real citrine versus fake citrine and like raw crystals and jewelry, because that's a whole different conversation. Jewelry would be its own. I've done some shorts on that, and I did TikToks on that. And then raw versus like the fake rough citrine, we can do that too. We can do like African and Brazilian, which are the two countries we primarily source citrine from. Of course, you can find it in other countries. It's more rare, but that's usually where we source citrine from in the crystal market. So let me know in the comments if you want me to cover that or any other topic requests. I'd be happy to add it to my list. Here on That Crystal Show, we explore crystals, science, and the metaphysical in a way that's grounded in honesty and curiosity. You don't have to believe everything. You just have to be open to learning something new. So if you're here for the geology, the ritual, or the deeper meaning, go ahead, like, and subscribe, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss what's next. I'm Bella from Bella Luna Crystals, crystal seller and crystal practitioner, and I'm really glad you're here.